Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to another edition of Upper Michigan Today, featuring another guest co-host. This time we're welcoming Dan Groeneveld for the first time in the UMT hot seat. So thanks a lot for joining the program.
Thank you for having me, Chia.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here on Upper Michigan Today. You're one of the newer faces to TV6, so you have been with us for a few months now. We are going to hear a little bit about your background and about you, but first, you know, it is a first alert weather day. We're expecting some wet, heavy snowfall later on in the morning. I just want to know, how was your commute this morning around like 7:30 or so?
Roads were still fine. I didn't see any precipitation, so it hasn't started yet.
Nice, nice. Well, I also want to point out, because I feel like this camera is probably going to capture the big gaping hole that I have in my shirt. I just need to point that out before someone sees it and is like, is she aware that she has a big hole in her? I am aware, yes. I've just been trying to hide it all morning. It worked on the news when I sit like this. This is a little bit more dynamic, so dismiss the hole I have in my clothing. I need to do some repairs today. Well, Dan, usually we start the show by looking at the weather cams outside. You said you didn't see any precipitation. Well, check out Marquette. It does look a little bit gray, but all in all seems like just a fine morning to get to where you need to be, to run your errands, etc., etc. In Houghton, kind of similar situation. We see a little bit more snow on the ground there, but lots of grass peeking out. I mean, hard to believe we're talking about a winter storm coming in when the first day of spring is tomorrow morning at 5:01. That's when the equinox is happening. But I guess this is the Upper Peninsula, and you and I are both used to it. So
yes, we are.
We know.
One last hurrah for winter. So.
Okay, but can we really say one last hurrah when we don't really know that? We've had late season storms like in May in the past before, so.
So, yeah, I guess one more for the winter, and then we might have some spring snow too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I come from Marquette. You come from a bit of a actual snowier area than Marquette. You come from the Houghton area. So I guess we'll start there with your background. Coming from the Houghton area, I take it you're very well used to late season winter storms.
Yes, I am. I remember
through the
May
snow.
and even so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like
used to it.
Do you like the snow, or is that
I
something
do like the snow. I cross-country ski, so that gets me out. So
I saw in our newscast this morning that there's a winter wanderer event happening in the Copper Country this weekend. I thought it was pretty funny that they're branding this event as a winter event, because I mean, weather-wise, it still very much is wintry conditions, but the fact that spring starts tomorrow and we're going to be a few days into the season. But yeah, being from the Houghton area, do you have any recommendations or must-dos that you like to tell people about?
I do have some must-dos. So one of my favorite things is hiking. So one of my favorite hikes is Bear Bluff.
Oh, I've never been there.
The Keweenaw Peninsula. That's a really beautiful overlook on the kind of eastern side of the Keweenaw Peninsula, overlooking Lake Superior.
Very nice.
And then the next one is Rodeo. Very good burritos there. One of my favorite restaurants in the Houghton area.
Is that in Houghton?
Yeah, in Houghton proper.
Okay, I've also never been there. These are good recommendations.
And then Brunette Park is one of my favorite places to swim in Lake Superior. It's really beautiful Jacobsville sandstone there. So cool. Very nice. Stargazing, one of my favorite places is Calumet Waterworks. Pretty dark skies, seeing some great stars and shooting stars there. And finally, you got to pick thimbleberries if you're in the Keweenaw.
Picking thimbleberries? Where do you have a favorite spot, or is it kind of just where you go along the trails along the wild?
You go along wherever and kind of find it. Bear Bluff, I found a pretty good patch there. Also, the snowmobile trail behind my house. Not a very popular destination, but that has some good places too. So. Well,
I thought that was a great list, because I have done none of those things. So next time I'm up in the Houghton area in the Keweenaw, I'll have to check them out. Eat at Rodeo, hike Bear Bluffs, maybe stay a while, do some stargazing. Very nice, very nice. And I have a feeling you probably like stargazing, looking up in the sky, all that sort of atmosphere things, because of your background in meteorology.
Yes, so I actually went to University of Oklahoma for meteorology for my undergrad. So.
Is that something that you're looking to maybe get into, forecasting? Because right now you're a multimedia journalist. Are you looking to get into the weather side of broadcasting?
Yeah, so I am. I think that's something I'd like to pursue. I was more into the climate and especially paleoclimate side of things when I was in school. So forecasting would be a little bit of a transition for me, but it's an area I'm interested in. So,
Very
but I
nice.
like reporting. I have a background in writing from grad school. So
Cool. Do you have a favorite story or favorite types of stories you've done or worked on here at TV6 so far?
I like the personal impact stories, so just interviewing interesting community members. I interviewed a doctor from Syria that I thought was really interesting, so those kind of human connection stories are probably my favorite.
How about outside of work? What do you like to get into apart from cross-country skiing? Any other recreation?
Yeah, I play guitar, and then climbing is another thing I do. This is an older video.
This isn't sped up, right?
No, it's
oh my
not
gosh,
sped
you're so
up.
fast.
That's a speed climbing course, so that's the
Where was this
point.
at?
This was in Oklahoma, so.
Huh. So when you were in school, did you do a lot of climbing?
Yeah, I was on. They had a club team, so it wasn't like an official team, but I competed on that, so it was a lot of fun.
Do you do any outdoor climbing here, or go to like the NMU Peef Wall?
Yeah, I go to the Peef Wall. There's a garage gym someone has that I go to, and then once the weather clears up, I'm looking to get outside a lot. So.
Huh, so that's something you go out on the crag and.
Go out on the crag, yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that about you. That's pretty cool. What else have you gotten into? Maybe your time at school.
Yeah, so I guess I haven't talked about grad school. One of my other interests is writing. So I went to the Iowa Writers Workshop, so down in Iowa City for 2 years, and did a Master's of Fine Arts in Fiction Writing.
And then it sounds like you did some research during your time in grad school as well. I mean, most people in grad school, that's kind of what they're doing, research. But
yeah.
what was your focus on?
So this was still an undergrad,
Okay.
but this is my capstone project looking at the impact of winter weather events on on the transmission of COVID-19 and how winter weather impacted that transmission. So we didn't find any statistically significant results, but we did see a slight dip in the weeks following some major winter weather events we had in Oklahoma. So that was interesting result, and yeah, I think it transitions well to our next guest we'll have on the show.
It certainly does, because coming up this morning, we're diving into the production of My Sister, a film that was created here in Marquette County. But first, we're actually looking back on the last 5 years.
That's how long it's been since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Julia Seitz has been investigating the lasting impacts the pandemic had on the Marquette County businesses. She joins us in the studio to break down some of the things she's learned when we return.